Excited to, on this video, show you how to use a Pitchbend wheel. And this is something that you're going to need a keyboard that has it, which is, of course, this wheel that sometimes it's always on the left side of the keyboard. Some keyboards have it, some keyboards don't. If you don't, you can probably look into even getting a MIDI controller that would have one and connecting that to your keyboard to use it as a way to like almost alter a little bit the sounds further. But that you will have to, like, of course, check. If I'm using a keyboard, this is a PSRE 453 that does have it, and I'm also using a alto saxophone patch, which of course the song is played on. It's almost like a sax, but I think it's a keyboard sax. So the first thing that you want to know with the Pitchbend wheel is to make sure that when you release it by letting it go. So one thing that is designed to do is spring-loaded. So when I let it go, it comes back to like the position 0. So there, the effect sounds more natural if you play a note and let it go, then instead of you play a note and almost bring it back yourself all the way to the center. So when you play this first note, which is going to be a B flat, what we're going to do is bend the wheel first, then play the note B flat, and then let the wheel go. So you need to do this fairly quickly, because there's another note coming, which is G. We're going to play the note without the wheel, and then move the wheel down all the way to the bottom. So it will sound like this. Right after that, I'm playing an E flat, and that E flat does not need wheel. That's just a straight note. So you're going to be able to or practice this slowly. So those are the first 4 notes of that melody line. So you want to make sure that you practice that slowly. Wheel first, note, release. Second note, play it. Wheel down, third note, E flat, and then a G. And then it goes followed by the next group of notes, no wheel, so which are G and 3 B flats. My suggestion will be keep your finger 4 on B flat, pretty much for I think almost the whole intro and the whole melody part with the sax, because that's going to give you a good foundation of almost getting your hand in one position. Now after that, we are going to be doing pretty much the same pattern again, but the note changes there to a F, the last quarter note of that part, and then we're going to do F, B flat 3 times, followed by G, B flat, C flat, and B flat. So that sounds. So that completes what we have on our paper for the first line. Practice it very slowly. I would say definitely practice it with drums, so you can get the feel not only of including the wheel, but making sure that your timing is correct. And practice it with the original song so you can hear the rhythms, but go ahead and take it and slow it down on YouTube with the playback settings. So if I do the second line, it's very similar. But then we have a C, same thing with the wheel first. So the very ending, I do think you need to switch. So after we do that C, same thing, with the bend. F, G, 4 B flats, and then another B flat with a little space because we have a rest. So B flat, E flat, and D. And for that, I will move your hand and put your thumb on a B flat so you can do the last note. Now, I think absolutely it is okay to practice this particularly slow, so you can almost have time to process all of the little parts that you're doing. So very nice melody, very cool to get you guys to practice a little bit of like Pitchbend. Pitchbend is a very functional thing, especially when you're playing melody lines or solos. And it's something that I think is cool to have songs that actually need it, so we can include it into what you guys are learning into playing piano and playing keyboards. On this second part of Savage Love, that's going to be the verses and the pre-chorus. And in this, you're doing 4 different chords. And one thing that you want to make sure that you can play them short, because in the reggae pattern, we're doing a couple of things that are somewhat different. You're accentuating beats 2 and 4, and you're making sure that those are very short notes. So it's going to be, the first one is a C minor inversion, E flat, G, and C. That's gonna, I would suggest fingers 1, 2, and 5. Then followed by an A flat major, E flat, A flat, and C. That's also an inversion. So this pattern is gonna go twice the first time for each chord, and then one more time. And if you count it, it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4. So the chords land on 2 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's the same pattern for each chord. Make sure that you probably start by counting. We see a lot of students when we're trying to do this, they get reversed and they start going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and it sounds pretty bizarre. It is challenging to play on the offbeats, but make sure that you practice probably counting first and make sure that you're counting steady. So back to the other 2 chords, E flat major, 1, 3, and 5. That's E flat, G flat, E flat, G, and B flat, same pattern. And then we're gonna have a D, F, and B flat. And I would suggest fingers 1, 2, and 5 for that one as well. So once you put the 4 together, nothing too complicated, except make sure that it doesn't get reversed. A couple of parts of the song have a note that it's almost on the bottom. It's like a horn type of sound, and you're doing this and holding it. So you should check the parts of the song that do have that sound, and I would suggest ideally you want to play with a different sound, not a piano sound. But if you don't have multiple keyboards or a split, you can just use the same sound. But there, I would suggest finger 3 on C, pinky on A flat, and then finger 1 on E flat, and finger 4 on B flat. That way you don't have to move your hand around. So with that, you should be able to have the verses. Just check the song and the structure to when are you playing with 2 hands and when is just a right hand. And then we're gonna have the pre-chorus, and for the pre-chorus we're trying to add one more note, so it sounds a little bit like fuller, so to make this chords a little bit more colorful. So the first one is gonna be a C minor sus, so that's C, E flat, F, and G. And I would suggest 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the fingerings, with a C on the left hand, then followed by an A flat with an added 6. So that's going to be C, E flat, F, and A flat. So you're adding the F to that chord. Then followed by an E flat with an added 9. So that will be B flat, E flat, F, and G with fingers 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then followed by this chord, which will be a B flat with an added 9. So B flat, C, D, and F. Those, I think, are more colorful chords. I think they sound cool. You don't probably want to play this with a piano sound. It's more a pad for this section, which is right as the pre-chorus. So 4 counts each because they're whole notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, then 2, 3, 4, and so on. The last chord finishes on 3 or 4. 1, 2, then 3, 4, no chord. So the last one has 2 rests there on 3 and 4. So with that, you should pretty much have everything that you need to play the whole song. Make sure that you practice it slowly. This one requires, ideally, if I had a choice, 3 different keyboards, because you have multiple sounds going and happening in different parts of the song. But it's one that you can, of course, play with other musicians with this type of, arrangement, especially if you have a singer, you have a drummer, you have a guitar player, you can have some fun with this one. I want to thank you for watching. Definitely consider subscribing and clicking on the notifications bell. That way you don't miss any of the content that we put up here. We'll see you guys on the next one.